this AI skills hub from the UK government. And I'm going to put them on blast here because this is disappointing, really disappointing. The UK government spent £4.1 million, which is $5.5 million US on this website. It's a resource website. I have logged in, which was an absolute pain in the ass. It did not send me my verification email. The verification email went into spam. It's sent from some random address. I guess whoever developed this, the whole thing's a mess. So I'm saving you the trouble of having to create an account. There's also joke things like it asks your industry, and the options are basically, it can either be agriculture, transport, logistics, construction, creative industries, or other. What? What's going on here? This feels like they've built it to get grants from like the agricultural department, the transport department, the construction, and the creative industry department. And they're not thinking about what this is like for users and the confusion that this causes. So I put in none of the above. Anyway, that was purely getting into the site was difficult, already annoying, already showing some signs of weakness with things like the email not arriving, landing in spam. Guys, come on. You get in, you get a catalogue of courses to learn about artificial intelligence, but it's just a big old list, and it's primarily free courses that you can get from companies like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, etc., etc. So all of this stuff's been available for a while. All they've done here is pull them into one site and allow you to see them, and stuck some random images on them that they've got from Shutterstock by the looks of it. You can click through, find out more about it, you can sign up for it, like, absolutely fine, but all it is a catalogue of pre-existing resources. This cost the UK government £4 million, $5.5 million. That's taxpayers' money. This is not worth 4 million. You could set up an AI bot to find all these courses, code this site in a day or two. Jumping ahead, that's what I'm doing. I am replicating this site and I'm going to make it better because this has annoyed me. Lots of them will say no charge. Great. Can we filter by no charge? Yes, there's a filter. We must be able to do this. Filter by no charge. Okay, so we can do that. Do update so we can see the ones that are free. There's only 9 pages of the free ones. How many are on a page? 20 on a page? So a couple of hundred are free, but the remainder are paid. 9 pages of free ones and 13 pages of paid ones. They're primarily not free courses. That's fine. Maybe your employee's sending you, maybe you'll pay for it yourself. That's fine. But the annoying thing is here, if we click on them, it just says fee payable. It doesn't tell us how much it is. This could be a $50 course. This could be $5,000. I don't know. I have to go to the website and it says it's free here, but presumably it's going to start charging me at some point if I want a certification. This is information that if you have been paid £4 million by the government to put together this website, you go and get that information. You bring it onto the website. You don't make the user go and click around and find out how much it's going to cost. You don't make them go and do their own research. The whole point of this hub is to make it easy, and they have not even bothered to do that. So it's either no charge or fee payable. We need a filter less than £100, between £100 and £1,000, more than £1,000. But they haven't bothered to do that level of research. You can see why I'm annoyed. There are also ones, somebody found it. I haven't been able to find it, but apparently there were ones that are international. And there was one from like the Canadian government department, and it was only applicable for people who lived in Manitoba, and that got on this site. After that became public, they probably removed it. And there were some excuses saying, oh, we want to make sure there's a diverse range of international options, etc. No, this is an AI skills hub for the UK. The point is to provide AI skill training accessible and useful for people in the UK. If it's only for farmers in Manitoba, that is not useful. This site, again, I cannot help, that costs £4 million, that could have been vibe coded up in an afternoon, that has a bunch of free courses and then a bunch of paid courses without the payment information, is a bit of a joke. And I'm really annoyed. So what I'm doing, I have already scraped it. I've pulled all the information. I've grabbed all 500 courses. Codex did it for me. I said to Codex, hey, I want to rebuild this. And Codex was like, yeah, cool, let's do it. I have a Codex agent that went out, grabbed all of this information. I'll show you how to do that if you want. I pulled the information, put it into a JSON file. I brought it back into Codex and said, I want to rebuild this on my site. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it better. So I'm going to pull in all of these courses. I'm then going to do additional research. So I'm going to, for each one of these, go and get the information from the actual page, get the actual price. If it's not readily available, I'm going to ask what the price is, and I'm going to get it onto my site. I'm going to open it up and not require a registration process that doesn't deliver to your email once complete. I'm going to rebuild this so people in the UK do have access to this kind of skill training, and it's much more accessible and it isn't through this stupid portal. I'm also going to build a proper pathway system. So at the moment, you can fill out this personal pathway. So you do edit assessment and choose between industries: agricultural, transport, creative, or other. So if you work in healthcare, for example, other. If you work in social working, other. Useless. We need to have all the industries in here if we want to make this useful. Learning persona, this is fine. Do you want to be a worker, a leader, professional? Yeah, whatever. Experience level, beginner, intermediate, advanced. What I'm going to build this out into is maybe a little assessment where you can actually find out what your level of AI is, because most people don't know. Most people will either assume they're a beginner because they're new to it, or that they're probably more advanced than they are. So maybe I'll have a little assessment, a little optional assessment, which allows you to work that out. Because it's a new technology, this can be done better. Technology stack is fine. If you are just learning AI because you think it's important, locking yourself into a Microsoft, Google, or Amazon system is a bit weird. This is useful if you work for a company that uses the Google system or a company that uses Microsoft Copilot, but it doesn't make much sense to me. Redo the assessment, make it generally useful, not just for employees. And then what it does is it creates this pathway. So this is an AI leader beginner with the technology stack set to Microsoft. This pathway is a set of filters. So because I've said Microsoft, because I've said beginner, and because I've said AI leader, it's showing me all of the Microsoft courses that are at beginner level. It's showing beginner level fundamental skills. What's the difference between AI skills and fundamental skills? No idea. This is not a pathway. This is not helpful. This has given me 30, I think it said somewhere, 27 resources over 4 modules. There's going to be overlap here. Should I do, this makes sense. Should I do understanding data concepts, then get started with agents, then generative AI for beginners? No. Why do agents before generative AI for beginners? Makes no sense. It starts with understanding data concepts, specifically for agriculture and food, even though I said none of the above. Why is it giving me that? The first thing is this agriculture and food related Microsoft understanding data concepts, which costs money. How much does it cost? It doesn't cost money. It's free. This is free. They've got that wrong. Enroll now, fee payable. 1, it's the wrong thing to send me. 2, it's free, not fee payable. 3, this technology. Why do all this Microsoft training before this stuff? This is not a pathway. This is a set of filters, a set of sorting. No, not even sorting. It's just filters that dumps it on a page. And there you go. Here's 37 courses you can do. Again, I wouldn't be so annoyed if it wasn't UK taxpayer money that's just been spaffed on this stupid site and it costs £4 million. So I'm going to rebuild it and relaunch it, because the more I look into this, the more I talk about it, the more I use it, the more angry I get, because it is such a waste of time and resources. We can do so much better. What is this? The 5th course I should take is this, the British Standards Institute ISO IEC 2002 implementing the change training course. How much is this one? Live online. To do this one, I need to get them into my organization. That's fine if I'm KPMG or whatever, and I'm bringing in a trainer. I cannot do this as an individual. How do I do that? I need to call them. I need to fill out the form below. There's no form. I'm going to redo this for the UK government because they can't do it themselves, and I'm going to release it to people. I also want to do this for other countries. If we can do this for the UK, we can do this for every other country. We can show what's available online, available in the locale as well, what's available in the language of that particular country, etc., etc. We can do a lot more than this. We'll not restrict it to the UK, and we're going to open this up and make this more freely available so everybody can benefit from this. And we're not going to charge governments £4 million. I'm going to stop going on about it because it's just going to make me more and more annoyed. Oh, Layla says, I can finally join your lives on TikTok hidden from me before for some reason. That might be my fault too, that I start them at random times. I meant to start them at 10 or so, but life gets in the way. So it might be my fault, Layla. Sorry. Good morning, Jesse. You've just missed me ranting about the UK government. I'm just annoyed about this website. Let's jump into drama. So there is an advert. Go and watch it all. I stuck it on my Instagram so you can watch it, or you can just go to the Claude or the Anthropic Twitter, or I'm sure it's on YouTube as well. They put out an advert which is brutal. I'm not going to play it on this stream because it might get copyright strike, but go watch it. It's 1 minute long. Basically, it's a guy talking to his therapist. This actress does the most spot-on ChatGPT impression. She talks like an artificial intelligence. I think the first thing she says is, "That's a great question," or something like that. Let me find it. Great question. Yeah. So she talks like an artificial intelligence, and he's asking about how he can improve his relationships with his mother. He feels like he's distancing from her. She says, great question. And she goes through a few things you can do. Make sure you're listening. Maybe organize a picnic with your mother. And then she suddenly switches mode and says, have you thought about older women dating sites? If you're looking to create a lasting relationship with an older woman, then check out Golden Oldies dating site. She's mimicking ChatGPT, adding advertisements in their chats. Claude is going for the jugular. We know that ChatGPT are going to be adding ads. They're starting to roll out. They're starting to test them in America right now, and then it will go wider. It's going to be in their free plan. It's going to be in their Go plan, which is the low cost plan. And they're going to be using that to subsidize the cost of running the company, basically. Anthropic have come out swinging based on this with this advert, which is incredibly funny. So go and watch it. They put it at the Super Bowl as well, so they've spent a lot of money on it. And they also put out this blog article, this statement, basically saying Claude is a space to think. There are many good places for advertising. A conversation with Claude is not one of them. So they are directly attacking and saying, we will not put adverts into our chatbot. Advertising drives competition, helps people discover products, and allows services like email and social media to be free. Really good point. We're used to adverts arriving in emails and stuff like that. And we're used to adverts on social media because in all of those places, we don't pay. We are the product. We run ad campaigns, and our AI models help many of our customers in the advertising industry. So Anthropic saying upfront, we don't mind advertising, which they have to because they released an advert themselves. But ads in conversations with Claude would be incompatible with what we want Claude to be, a genuinely helpful assistant for deep thinking. We've made a choice. Claude will remain ad-free. Our users won't see sponsored links adjacent to the conversations with Claude, nor will Claude responses be influenced by advertisers or include third-party product placements. This is saying, oh, yeah, you can use ChatGPT, but you're going to get fed adverts. If you come over to Claude, you're good. You're not going to get adverts. And for people for whom adverts is a very emotive, a strong negative for them, this is very appealing. This is 100% against OpenAI. It's an attack. They joined it with the Super Bowl advert. Make sure you go and see. I put it on my Instagram, or you can find it on Claude's profiles. I'll put it in the newsletter as well. It's very funny. They are going for the jugular and trying to take out OpenAI. Now, this rattled Sam Altman. Let me find it. Here we go. He doesn't normally write this much. This is hilarious. He says, first, the good part of the Anthropic ads, they are funny, and I laughed. But I wonder why Anthropic would go for something so clearly dishonest. Our most important principle for ads say that we won't do exactly this. We would obviously never run ads in the way Anthropic depicts them. We are not stupid, and we know our users would reject that. So in the joke advert that Anthropic have put out, the therapist offers him ways to date older women. So he's having problems with his mother, and the therapist says, oh, would you like to date older women, and gives him a dating service. And he's, wait, what? This is an idea of we are going to get sent adverts which don't necessarily align with what we're looking for in ChatGPT. Sam Altman is saying, we're not going to do that. We're going to give you adverts which are aligned and genuinely helpful. They're not going to say, we're going to give you crappy scammy ads. They're going to say these ads will be genuinely useful. They have to make that argument, but I agree with Sam Altman here. More importantly, we believe everyone deserves to use AI and are committed to free access because we believe access creates agency. More Texans use ChatGPT for free than the total number of people who use Claude in the US. So we have a differently shaped problem than they do. If you want to pay for ChatGPT Plus or Pro, we won't show you ads. We are serving so many people, giving AI to so many for free, that we have an entirely different problem. I was telling someone about this the other day, and very rightly asked, they're like, oh, how come Anthropic don't need to run ads? OpenAI are looking at running ads because they need to generate revenue, because they have a huge burn rate, spending a lot of keeping the servers going. And at the moment, they have to go out and ask for more money. So every few months, Sam Altman will go out and be like, can I have another $50 billion? We're working towards our IPO. But in the meantime, we need more money. The ads are to keep the lights on, basically. They are to allow the servers to keep going. And that allows them to provide artificial intelligence for free to nearly 1 billion people on Earth. I think this is a very compelling argument that Sam Altman's making. He's basically saying Claude is not that successful. Claude doesn't have that many users. So Claude isn't burning huge amounts of cash on their servers. They are not dealing with the same problem that we need to, which is why we are putting forward ads, because we want to make sure that everybody has access to this technology. So I think that is an incredibly strong argument. Somebody saying Anthropic needs traffic first to show ads. Basically, Anthropic can say we're not going to show ads because they don't have the traffic. They don't have enough people coming to their into their app. Their user base is much smaller than ChatGPT. So the monthly unique visitor for ChatGPT is about 400 million, whereas for Claude it's about 15 million. So they're doing very different things. The business model of Claude right now is with developers. It's with coders. They are charging $200 a month, $100 a month for the max plan. I'm on the $200 plan, which is 10 times what I pay for ChatGPT. That's where the money's coming from. It's coming from subscriptions of people who are building with Claude. With ChatGPT, it's a more general purpose AI, and it's being used by 1 billion people, 1/8 of the world's population. It's costing them a huge amount to keep that going. Advertising makes sense because you have eyeballs, you have attention, you have traffic. So it's a different business model. So honestly, I think Sam Altman is dead to rights here. However, his response is also, you can tell, Anthropic put out a funny ad and he writes a whole essay. I'll put this in the newsletter so you can read it in full. He doesn't normally write this much, so you can tell that this got under his skin. I see Nikita underneath, who he runs head of product at X. He says, comms advice, never respond to playful humor with an essay. Just say, damn, they cooked us, or make a joke about them. The fact that Sam Altman has responded with this immense essay tells us that this got to him, and this has annoyed him, this has upset him. But I think this argument here, we have more people in one state, the state of Texas, using ChatGPT than total users in the US. They're playing different games, different markets, and using adverts, ChatGPT can keep the lights on and they can make sure that everybody has access to ChatGPT. Because Claude is not cheap. Claude costs a lot of money, and it's only the people, the elites really, who can afford to spend $200, $100 a month on a max plan. That is a very small percentage of humanity, whereas ChatGPT is saying, here you go, everybody can use this, and we want to make sure everybody can. So yes, the advert's very funny, and I recommend it, and I think it's fantastic that we're seeing this competition. Sam Altman's response, despite its length, despite it seeming a little bit desperate, I think he makes a very good point, and we need to remember that. Okay, I'll put the full Sam Altman response and the advert in the newsletter, so make sure you're subscribed for that. Okay, yesterday I was over at Google at the central St. Giles site. I saw some very cool things, including one thing that's confidential. They also released their quarterly results, and Google are doing extremely well. They're doing very well in the AI race, but quite quietly. They're releasing a huge amount of product. They are getting a lot of users, and they're actually making money from this kind of stuff. But they're just slowly doing this in the background while we are all looking at ChatGPT, and we're looking at Anthropic and Claudebot. Google are powering away. I've talked about this at some length before. I think they're probably going to win the AI race because they own the whole vertical. They make their own TPUs. I saw some TPUs yesterday at their office and I got excited. They have their own cloud infrastructure. They have the user base. Huge amounts of people are using it. They have data. They've been collecting data from Google Search, from YouTube, from Google Images, from Maps, from everywhere for the last couple of decades. So they have data. Market penetration. Chrome is used by 70% of people using browsers. Android is about 70% penetration as well. They have money, billions in revenue every year from their other business units, primarily from search. They're in a really good position to take this. So whilst these guys, so ChatGPT and Anthropic, are squabbling and shooting ads at each other, Google are just building in the background, quietly building and building. So Sundar Pichai put out their quarterly results. Thanks to our partners and employees, it was a tremendous quarter, exceeding 40 billion in annual revenue for the first time. That's a lot of money. Our full AI stack is fueling our progress. Again, that's their TPUs, their cloud, their application layer, their data layer. They have it all. They don't need to go to NVIDIA to buy GPUs. They don't need to go to Oracle to buy cloud. They have it all in-house. And Gemini 3 adoption has been faster than any other model in our history. Very cool. So their revenues are up 17%. They are apparently, I did not know this, but they're apparently at 750 million users for the Gemini app. It was 900 million, but ChatGPT has been growing that for the last couple of years, whereas Gemini really only took off with the release of Nano Banana last year. But apparently they're at 750 million, which is very much catching up with ChatGPT. They could become the biggest AI app on Earth this year. This is a huge revelation. I'm wondering if that includes things like Google search, AI overviews. It says Gemini app. I need to investigate because that seems phenomenally large. I saw Logan talking about this too. It says Gemini now processes 10 billion tokens per minute via the API, and the Gemini app just crossed 750 monthly active users. That's a huge number. If that includes AI overviews, that allows you to count people using Google search, but I think the people using Google search is much more than this. It says Gemini app here, so I think people are using it. So congratulations to Google. They're doing extremely well. And apparently 325 million paid consumer subscriptions. Okay, that's not just AI. That would be absolutely wild because that would be 50% of their AI usage. Okay, no, they're not doing that well. The other thing that I saw, and they put out a tweet. Did they put it out yesterday? It said, in case you missed it, and this is a good in case you missed it. We've had AI browsers for the last couple of years. We had things like Comet, we had ChatGPT Atlas, we have, oh God, there's a whole bunch of them, but AI-enabled browsers where the AI can see what you're doing, it can intervene, it start to use the web page for you agentically. What I've always said is, it's great that Comet are doing this, it's great that ChatGPT have Atlas, it's great that these things exist, but as soon as Chrome adds AI, becomes an agentic browser, it's done. Because Chrome has 70-80% market share. Chrome is what people use. So if you just add AI, if you just add an AI sidebar into Chrome, that's it. That's the ball game. People aren't going to go and use a new browser. They're going to stick with what they have, and you add it into the market leader. Things like Atlas, things like Comet, they're Chromium anyway. They're based on Chrome underneath. So they've finally done it. I know they had a Gemini sidebar before, which could interact with the page. I was at the Google office yesterday, had a meeting, and he said, have you seen the Chrome Gemini? I was like, I think so, because I'd seen previous iterations, but then he showed me it took over his browser and it booked a train ticket. We were watching, it was like a game of chicken to see how much he trusted the Google model. I was joking, oh, do you trust it as much? It was going through the process of buying this ticket, and it selected a ticket for him, and it went all the way to the checkout, and it's like, is it going to stop, or is it going to purchase? It's got his card details, is it going to purchase? And it stopped at the last moment. He was very happy about that. But now it's a fully agentic browser. They just didn't really tell anyone about it. So they have this tweet yesterday, which is, Chrome now runs on Gemini 3, our most intelligent AI model yet. Here's what you need to know about the new side panel experience. It can take over your computer. It can also use Nano Banana inside the browser. So I think you just saw a little example of it there. If you are looking, I don't know, let's say you're on Rightmove or Zoopla or whatever it is in the US, and you're looking at an apartment on the page, you can, in the sidebar in Gemini, say, hey, I'm looking at this apartment. Could you show me what it would look like fully furnished? Nano Banana will see the image and fully furnish the apartment in the sidebar. So Nano Banana can see the page, pull the information it needs, and create graphics from it. So things like that, really, really cool. They've waited for everyone else to release their AI browsers, see what the security issues are, see what the user experience issues are, and then drop this. So we have the AI browser. Now, the rollout is limited, which is why I love Google, but they're not good at launching things. You might be wondering, how do I access it? I don't know. I think it might only be in the US right now, and I think it might only be for people who have a certain kind of workspace level, but it's going to be coming to more people. I don't know where it is or how to access it or who has access and who doesn't. Is emblematic of Google. Again, I love Google, I love the things they're doing, but they're not great at launching products. Gemini is so much fun. Yeah, Gemini is great. And it came from nowhere. Google were very much caught on the back foot by ChatGPT releasing, because Google had large language models before and they were being used internally at Google. And then all of a sudden ChatGPT released a model, had that big ChatGPT moment, and the feeling at Google was very much, oh, but wait, we've been using this for a while and we have one. Why didn't we launch it? For a couple of years, been on the back foot because ChatGPT moved first, moved fast, whereas Google were, I think, trying to perfect it, trying to make it safe, trying to make it useful for everybody. And because of that, OpenAI stole a march on them, and ChatGPT became synonymous with artificial intelligence, rightly or wrongly, doesn't really matter. So it's been over the last couple of years that Google have been reclaiming that position, because the last few decades, Google have been a predominant player in the AI market with things like DeepMind. ChatGPT caught them by surprise. It's great to see them coming back with infrastructure, the full stack, TPUs, cloud data, user base, product base, to take advantage of AI technology. Very cool. They're coming after ChatGPT, says Tamas. Yeah, they are. I'm still going to ask some people at Google about that 750 figure, because that really surprises me, because that means they've caught up, or they will be shortly. ChatGPT was 900 million about a month ago. They might be at 1 billion. Once they hit 1 billion, we will know, because that is a hell of a benchmark. This is weekly active users. So if Gemini are anywhere close to that, then they should be shouting it from the rooftops. How do you rate ChatGPT versus Copilot versus Gemini? Sorry, Microsoft. So Microsoft run Copilot. I'm not a big fan of Copilot. Copilot runs on ChatGPT. Under the hood, it's ChatGPT, but they've added additional safeguards, additional rules, and basically neutered it. So I don't use Copilot. I try it every few months and come away disappointed. OpenAI, ChatGPT, Anthropic, Claude, Opus, Sonnet, etc. are just pushing ahead so fast, whereas Microsoft are very conservative. Copilot has a use because it's within an organization, so you have layers of security, you can set up rules, etc. But it means it's very much neutered compared to the other models, Claude and ChatGPT. Gemini I primarily use for images for Nano Banana Pro. My main model is Claude. I use Claude for nearly everything. That said, I have a $200 a month plan, so I don't worry about rate limits. It's an expensive model. And then I use ChatGPT for personal stuff. So the best thing about ChatGPT for me is the persistent memory. The fact that it knows information about me from all different chats, whereas Claude, I know it has the ability to pull memories from different chats, but it's not organic. I just want ChatGPT to know everything about me so it can pull information from various threads that we've had without me having to re-give it the context every time. So I use it for personal stuff primarily. I use Claude for work stuff and coding. I'm using Codex a lot more though, which is ChatGPT, because the new Codex app, which I've done in the last 2 lives, really good. I'm still working out how they sit together for coding. Claude Code is very good for iterative coding. When I want to sit down and go back and forward, it does something, I make changes, and it takes a minute or so. Whereas Codex is much slower. I will give it a task and it will go off for 10, 20 minutes working on that task. I need to step away from my computer. However, when it gets that task back to me, the quality is really good. So Claude is great for smaller tasks, and I'm using Codex for big projects where I want it to do a huge piece of work. I check after 20, 30 minutes. I'm still working out how they live together, and I don't know the answer yet. We've got a bunch of rumors swirling around. First rumor, Opus 4.6 and Sonnet 5. These are leaked tables of its performance. We have to take these with a grain of salt. They're probably fake. There's a huge amount of rumors about the release of Sonnet 5. Right now we're on Sonnet 4.5 and Opus 4.5. The way the Anthropic models, the Claude models work is Opus will be the premium model, but Opus is extremely expensive. They release a new Sonnet model, Sonnet 5, which beats Opus. And then we will have a period of a month or 2 where the Sonnet model will be the top one, and then they'll release a new Opus model, and that will be even better. Then again, a Sonnet will overtake, etc., etc. So Sonnet 5 is, I'm looking at this table, this might be fake, so it doesn't really matter, but across the board, better. That's not really a surprise. With every new model release, every new model has to be better, otherwise nobody's going to pay attention. So they're not going to release it until it's across the board, beating all the benchmarks. They are saying that this is going to wipe out every single model from 2025. So the new Sonnet model is just going to make Gemini 3 Pro, GPT 5.2, Opus 4.5 and Sonnet 4.5 obsolete, because this model is just going to just wipe the floor across the board on every single metric. I believe them. Every time Claude, Anthropic release a new Claude model, it's always the best. That said, the ChatGPT are potentially releasing 5.3. This is again based on a rumor. Somebody said, can we get 5.3 now? And Sam Altman responded with the little kind of side eye thing. GPT 5.3 is also landing. So again, there's always going to be a new model. There will always be a best model, but only for a couple of weeks before the next one. Gemini 3.5 or something is also waiting to be released as well. Oh, and Grok, I guess. What were we on with Grok? 4.2? So Grok 4.5 maybe, or maybe a Grok 5 at some point. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to be great. Whether we get it this week, it was meant to supposedly drop on Tuesday, but they had a huge outage over at Anthropic. So I'm not sure if anyone uses Claude. It went down. The API went down. The rumor, unsubstantiated, is that this was them trying to release Sonnet 5 and the servers collapsed. So they're like, oh, shit, and they rolled it back and then they're taking it a bit slower. This is substantiated to a certain extent by a lot of the vibe coding apps like V0, Replete, I think probably Lovable, saying, ooh, something big's coming. They were all teasing the release of something. Whatever that something is did not arrive. So the chances are that the server meltdown at Claude, plus this rumor of something big arriving with all these vibe coding apps, which remember, they get it early because they need to set it up for launch day. They all started teasing. The servers went down. Anthropic probably said, pull the plug. Messages about, oh, something big has come and disappeared. So it looks like we're meant to have it on Tuesday, but it's now been delayed until they can release it safely without melting their servers. This is all speculation, rumors, but that seems to be the narrative. When we get it, it will be great. And then we'll have another great model in a few months and the cycle will continue. It's exciting to get hyped about the new best thing, but remember, they always get better and you don't need to use every new release. You don't have to chase every shiny object. You're safe in the knowledge that all AIs are getting better, which is cool. Does Gemini's sidebar give another angle for vibe coding? You probably wouldn't vibe code in the sidebar, but so I'll come back to this project that I talked about at the beginning. There's this government website in the UK that costs £4.1 million. It's crap. I've done a full analysis of it. It's just me getting more and more annoyed. So that's about $5.5 million for this directory site. I ripped all of the information from this site. I'm probably getting in trouble for that, but I don't care because I want to make this more available. I pulled all the information and I'm enriching that data, putting it into a proper database, making it available. To do that, I used Inspector in Chrome and the console. I had Codex build me a little script, which went through the pages, grabbed the information and put it in a JSON file. And it worked like a treat, actually. I might have it. Is this it? Yeah, I'm not going to do it again, but I've got a little script. You can see it here. Codex wrote that for me, and it just ripped through the site and grabbed all the information. Probably shouldn't admit this on a live stream, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. Would you be able to do that with a sidebar? If I had an AI sidebar that could access a page source, then I could say, hey, look at this page. I want to replicate or improve this. Maybe it's your page. Having the ability to allow your AI into your browser just gives you some more options in terms of coding, in terms of your workflow. Now, you can do this. You can set up Playwright. You can set up ways for your AI to access web pages, but having it in a sidebar would be pretty cool. I could also do things like, let's say I liked this top bar. I like this top bar. I could talk to my AI assistant and say, I want to replicate this on the website. Can you get the styling from it? Can you go into the CSS, into the HTML and pull that styling information? This is stuff we can do manually, or we could use AIs to do it, but it would just make it a lot easier having it in a sidebar. I can grab this information from here, but an AI sidebar would be a useful companion to do that quickly. I don't think with vibe code in the sidebar, you could use it as a supplementary tool to gather information, to also test on your site. Like I could take it to my site, have a sidebar, say, hey, read through the site and work out better ways to increase conversion, or look for errors in my analytics, etc. Look for error codes, etc. And it would be able to go and do that for you. These are things we can do already, but the sidebar would make it easier. So a supplementary tool for vibe coding, a supplementary tool for business, rather than something you're going to build in directly. How does the new Codex compare with Claude Code? Good, really good. I've been using Codex for the last couple of days. It's slow, especially in extra high mode, but the results are good. It might take 20-30 minutes to complete a task, but when you come back, it's done it well. Claude Code is excellent. Generally, it will take a couple of minutes and come back to you. Sometimes you'll have to do a bit of back and forward. Now, you can say to Claude Code, and I do this every night, I say, I'm going to bed. Keep working. Do not look for input from me. Continue until you think you've completed this task. Give me a list of things you need me to check, a list of things you need clarification on, morning, and that will set it into a mode where it will basically work for a lot longer. Codex does that by default. Codex will doggedly just keep banging into a problem, but at the end of it, the result is very good. I'm trying to work out where they both fit together. I'm using Codex for big projects. I did a huge security sweep of my website. I set Codex on it. I said, here's access. Go audit this. Look for where you can harden API endpoints, XYZ. Go find a security checklist first, then run through that checklist. Codex took about 40 minutes going through that task. It's fantastic at that kind of stuff. However, if you want more back and forth between you and the coding tool, that could be frustrating. I think it's better for asynchronous rather than synchronous work, whereas Claude Code, you're going to be a bit more hands-on, a bit more conversant with your AI. The site I was talking about is aiskillshub.org. It's a catalog of AI courses. Most of them are just pulled from Microsoft, Amazon, and, oh God, Google. Got some Coursera, got some deep learning AI ones. I don't know why they don't have all the deep learning AI ones. AI itself has a couple hundred. Let's see. I've only got 2 here. They don't even... I'm going to get annoyed again. Look what's happened. You've made me... So this one, deeplearning.ai, AI for everyone. That's a really good course. However, they also have one called generative AI for everyone, which I would argue is more useful. So AI for everyone is a good course. It's a really good course. But generative AI for everyone, which is more relevant to what a lot of people are thinking of as AI right now. So ChatGPT, large language models. The fact they've got one but not the other. There we go. Generative AI. This is one of the most popular courses on the internet to do with AI. I highly recommend you do it. But they don't have it on this trashy government website. The more I look at it, the more I get annoyed. I'm rebuilding this website. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to make it more available. I'm going to put proper courses in, like generative AI for everyone. I'm going to find out how much they all cost, because right now they just say free, or if it has a fee. It doesn't say if that fee is £30,000 because you're getting a master's degree, or if it's $100 to get some like little certification. It doesn't say, it just says paid. So they did not bother to do any research, and they charged the government £4 million. So the website is aiskillshub.org.uk. I'm a bit confused. It's free, and there's about 100 playbooks and 8 courses, loads of stuff. You can sign up for the newsletter, which is also free, but that needs an email address, obviously, so I can send you the newsletter, but that is free. Okay, one more thing. So it is the 1-year anniversary of vibe coding. Vibe coding has been around for a year. This is from February 2nd from Karpathy, saying there's a new kind of coding I call vibe coding, where you fully give into the vibes, embrace exponentials, and forget that code even exists. It's possible because the LLMs, Cursor Composer with Sonnet, are getting too good. I barely touch the keyboard. I ask for things, decrease the padding on the sidebar by half because I'm too lazy to find it. I accept all always. I don't read the diffs anymore. When I get error messages, I copy paste them in with no comment. The code grows beyond my comprehension. I have to really read through it. Sometimes the LLMs can't fix a bug, so I work around it and ask for random changes until it goes away. It is not too bad for throwaway weekend projects, but still quite amusing. I'm building a project or web app, but it's not really coding. I see stuff, say stuff, run stuff, and copy paste stuff, and it mostly works. That, a year ago, is the beginning of vibe coding. Remember, this is relatively new. AI coding, AI assisted coding, vibe coding. We had versions of it before. It was Karpathy coining that term about a year ago, where we really started to see really kick off, and companies like Lovable, I don't think they even existed at that point, or they'd just started. He's done a little retrospective of this because he coined the term and he's been continuing to vibe code. So he says a lot of people quote tweeted this as a 1-year anniversary of vibe coding, some retrospective. He said it's basically a shower thought. I just fired it off without thinking, but somehow I minted a fitting name at the right moment for something a lot of people were feeling. Vibe coding is now mentioned on my Wikipedia as a major memetic contribution, and its article is longer. He's now famous for this, which is probably not what he wants to be famous for. He's also the co-creator of ChatGPT, and he's done a lot of other things. But yeah, now he is the guy who coined vibe coding. At the time, LLM capability was low enough that you'd mostly use coding for fun throwaway projects. He said it's great for little things you do at the weekend, like toys, demos and explorations. It was fun and it almost worked. Today, 1 year later, programming via LLM agents is becoming a default workflow for professionals with more oversight and scrutiny. The goal is to claim the leverage from the use of the agents, but without any compromise in the quality of the software. Many people have tried to come up with a better name for this to differentiate it from vibe coding, and personally my favorite is agentic engineering. So we hear things like AI assisted coding, AI coding, vibe coding, agentic engineering, etc. Vibe coding is pejorative for the most part. That's considered, oh, that's for amateurs. However, the lines are blurring because large language models are getting better. What used to be for people who didn't know how to code or wanted a throwaway project is now being used. It's moving up the echelons. Linus Torvald co-created Linux, the kernel. Otherwise I get yelled at. So he used vibe coding. He's been using it on side projects and he said, oh, it's really good, powerful. This is a godfather of software development. So many serious, proper coders and programmers are using vibe coding, but we don't use that term. We use agentic engineering or AI assisted coding to make it sound better. The models are getting better and better and better. So these lines are going to blur. So he says agentic because the new default is that you are not writing the code 99% of the time. You're orchestrating agents who do and acting as oversight and engineering to emphasize there is an art and a science and expertise to it. It's something you can learn and become better at with its own depth of a different kind. So he's suggesting we move away from vibe coding to agentic engineering. Doesn't have the same ring to me. I think what will happen is that as the AIs become better and more commonly used, we'll just drop the vibing. It would just be called coding. In the same way that coding or programming used to involve, go way back, punch cards, assembly, binary. You don't need to worry about that anymore because we have different levels of abstraction. I think this vibe will drop away over time and just become coding. So things like agentic engineer is a patch. It's something that will help serious engineers, help serious coders start using these tools for the next couple of years, but this will also drop away. It's fine, but that is a temporary name. It will become coding over time. In 2026, we're likely to see continued improvement on both the model layers and the agent layer. I feel excited about the product of the two and another year of progress. Very cool. I'll put this tweet plus the original coining of vibe coding in the newsletter for you as well. What time is it? And we're at 1 hour. So I will finish up. So we've covered a few things today. First, I ranted about the government website, which costs 4 million, and I'm rebuilding, and I will show you what that looks like in a couple of days. We also looked at Claude's attack on ChatGPT and the inclusion of ChatGPT adverts. And I think Sam Altman's very fair response to it, which is, hey, we are doing AI on a different level and providing free access to the world. Get back in line. We are using adverts in order to make this happen and to give access fully to people. You don't need to worry about that because hardly anybody uses your AI. Brutal, but valid. It's fun to watch these people fight over this. It means more competition, better models, and more choice for us as consumers. Then we looked at Google and their quarterly results. The big headline for me, the surprising one, being there are 750 million users of the Gemini app, catching up quietly with ChatGPT. So while Anthropic are loudly sending out these adverts and shooting shots across the bow, Google are just getting on with it and will, if this increases, so if this continues at the same rate, will probably overtake ChatGPT in terms of their monthly active users this year. They have a huge amount of cash, so they can sustain this without adverts, at least for now. But they will add adverts eventually. You don't see them saying we're not going to add adverts, because they will. We looked at rumors of new models. I've got Sonnet 5 probably dropping this week, maybe next week. GPT 5.3 as well. Both of them on their way. Both of them will be better. Both of them will be the new best thing. But remember, step back a bit, the new best thing every single month. As long as the trajectory is getting better, that's all you need to know. You don't need the exact numbers. You don't need to know the exact benchmarks. Oh yeah, it's all getting better. We looked at the 1-year anniversary of the term vibe coding. And then Andrei Karpathy trying to change it to agentic engineering. But I don't think that's going to stick. Vibe coding's too good. Sorry, Andrei. You did 2 a year ago. Even if it was just a shower thought, a throwaway tweet. You did too well a year ago. I don't think this new one will stick. Cool. I'm going to finish up. Everything is available in the newsletter. Somebody was asking, is it free? It is free. You can join the community here. And there's a bunch of courses, a bunch of catalogs, etc. All for free. And you will get the daily email, a summary of my live. If you love paying for stuff, I am launching my AI Authority Accelerator. There's a big opportunity to become somebody who talks about AI to your particular demographic, to your particular industry niche, in your geography, in your language. So we have a lot of English-speaking AI content creators. We don't have many others. So I've put together an accelerator, 30 days, basically going through videos, creating videos, putting them onto TikTok and Instagram in order to start to build a following. I guide you through the process. I have about 250,000 following across various different social medias, and that allows me to drive my other businesses and make money. This is not about becoming an influencer. It's about using social media to drive traffic, using social media to drive distribution to whatever your business is. And I think there are a lot of spaces open for you to move to become the person that teaches this, or the person in your country, or the person who talks to this demographic, or explains AI for healthcare, AI for teachers, or whatever it is. Use your pre-existing background experience and connect your AI skills and your ability to use artificial intelligence, and you help other people to do that. And there's a really big opportunity for that right now. So these are a few of my students. We're starting that next week. If you'd want to pay for something, it's about £150. This will be launched in the newsletter today. So if you are interested, go to aiwithkyle.com. You can sign up for the newsletter, which is free, and everything else here, all these courses are free. This catalog of 100 playbooks, that's all free. All of these tools are free. The news is free. Prompt library, which is free. If you are looking for a more structured course, I am launching that accelerator next week as well. Sign up and there will be details inside of the newsletter later today. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. I will see you for another live, hopefully with news of Sonnet 5. Cheers.